everybody, welcome to a special edition of KARLTON Says Live. We are here just to discuss the aftermath of the 2016 presidential election. Of course, you guys know the country has been divided ever since Donald Trump announced that he was running for president. And now, after he won the presidency, it seems like the country is even more divided. Of course, protests all across the country. Just rants and raves all over social media, just causing just a lot of division amongst a lot of people here in this country. And so we're just going to talk about just some things, what led up to Donald Trump's presidential win, and also just some things of what we can do moving forward within these next 4 years. Today, I have joining me Mr. Jordan Johnson and Miss Sa Jules. How y'all doing today?
Doing great. How you doing?
I'm doing good. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into this. Of course, I'm sure you guys, as I felt on that night, that next morning, after the results, that everyone was shocked of the news that Donald Trump won the president seat. I chose not to stay up. That normally, the last two elections I stayed up, of course, to see if President Obama won. But this time I was like, I'm going to bed. I couldn't do it. It's crazy that it was that next morning I woke up, I saw all on Facebook, it was just Donald Trump's the president. I could not believe it. Like, he's actually going to be the president for the next 4 years. So how are you, honestly, how are you guys feeling about that whole situation?
Ladies first. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, like yourself, I went to bed. I was not going to wait up for foolishness. But nothing surprises me.
Mm.
We're in America. You just, everything is just this one day and that the next day. You know what I mean? So it didn't surprise me that he won. He fueled a lot of hate, suppressed hate.
Mm.
So now people are really all about freedom of speech, because he came out and he said whatever he wanted to say. And let me just backtrack a little bit. He didn't run with the intent of winning.
Mm.
Donald Trump is a businessman. Everything is strategic with him. This was just to boost his business. It's all about money.
Mm.
And then when he won, he was just as shocked as so many other Americans were, and not just Americans, other countries.
Mm.
But now we're looked at, and we're the laughing stock of the world now. America is. We're just going to have to sit back for these next 4 years and see what he does.
Mm.
Or doesn't do.
That's what it is. I was shocked. I was extremely shocked. Election night, we had an office open that was housing a campaign for Opportunity School District, and we had 25 workers who were working in that office. We had the election results posted on the wall, live streaming. And so as the results were coming in, she would win a couple states and he would win, and our hearts were beating. We were on the edge of our seats. And everyone left the office around maybe 11:30, 12 o'clock midnight. Election results still hadn't posted. So I think a lot of my disappointment came not only at the fact that Donald Trump was president, but at the fact that for so many months we had been working. It's extremely hard to get Hillary Clinton elected president, just because the issues that she championed were important to us, and they were important to the people who worked in our office. And the idea that now we have a president who is a racist, who has no idea what it takes to run a nation, who has no political background, no governing experience. This president now, not only does he not have those things, but he has no idea what it takes to address the issues that matters to us the most. And so I was shocked, I was heartbroken, and I lost a little hope in America for a quick moment. Then I had to bounce on back and realize that we still had work to do.
I think the thing I'm most afraid of is going backwards. President Obama has, believe it or not, I know a lot of people say he has done nothing, but I choose to believe that he's done a lot for this country the last 8 years. And he's made a lot of headway despite all the opposition from Congress. I'm afraid about going backwards. Like, so he's done a lot for African Americans, the LGBT community, just a lot of stuff for women's rights. And I'm just afraid that with President-elect Trump and these cabinet people that he's picking, it's like I feel like we're gonna regress and it just pushes out all the progress for that we've made in the last 8 years. And of course, they are talking about the first thing they want to get rid of is Obamacare, obviously, and that's unfortunate because that helped a lot of people get taken care of as far as medical treatments and stuff. A lot of people would never been seen without the Affordable Care Act. So my biggest fear is just we're going backwards. And like I said, it's just sad. I want to bring up a point as far as with Hillary. A lot of people, one reason, unfortunately, a lot of people decided not to vote in this election was because they felt like there was no candidate that they felt was worthy of becoming the next president. So they was like, instead of voting for the lesser evil, which a lot of people said was Hillary, they was like, well, I'm not going to vote at all. What do you say to those people that decided not to even participate with the presidential election?
Well, that's their right. One part of me want to be mad at them, wants to be angry, but I mean that's their right to choose whether they want to vote or not, and I absolutely understand. I think that a lot of people, we've gotten so accustomed to how President Obama has made us feel. When he ran in 2008, I felt like there was nothing I couldn't accomplish. When he ran in 2012, I felt the same way. I cried the night that he was reelected president. We didn't get that same feeling with Hillary Clinton. I can speak personally. I didn't feel that way with Hillary Clinton, but I supported her 100% because I knew for a fact that she cared about the issues that cared the most to me. So I think that we were too emotional when it came down to supporting Hillary Clinton. I can say that about millennials. We wanted to feel the same way we felt about President Obama. And like I said, I'm not angry that they didn't want to vote. I can absolutely understand that. But what I will say is that if you did not vote in this election, you need to make sure that your eyes are absolutely open and you're watching what comes down the pipeline now, especially in the state of Georgia, where a bill was just presented and then withdrawn that would negatively target Muslims in our state. So I mean, we need to really make sure that we understand what's going on, that we can make the choice not to vote, but then we also need to make the choice to get involved so that when the opportunity comes again, we have the right to vote. But I just think that anytime there's an opportunity to vote, you need to take that opportunity.
I was gonna say, I think people were so caught up with the presidential election that they missed like a lot of local stuff that was on the ballot. Especially here in Richmond County, there was a lot of stuff that affected a lot of us, and that we needed to vote. And because you chose not to vote at all, it trickles down. They say local elections are actually the most important.
Absolutely.
So I think a lot of times, like you said, we need to keep our eyes and ears open and not just be so, well, I'm not gonna, if you decide not to vote for a president, that's your right. But at the same time, you need to focus on things that's in your community. And I've been saying this too. Well, if you chose not to vote, then what are you doing? There's so much more to do than just sit on Facebook and just be like, I'm not gonna vote, and just it's easy to write a post. But what exactly are you doing to make a change in your community? If you're choosing not to use your voice in the the voting booth, then what are you doing actively in the community? That's been my thing. I think the problem is a lot of times people are so gung ho about going off on Facebook. I go off on Facebook a lot sometimes, but but at the same time, I know that my voice matters, and I know my vote does count. And unfortunately, a lot of people feel like their vote doesn't count, especially with this whole electoral college mess and everything. We're not going to get deep into that, but I just feel like people don't feel like they're being heard. I think that's mainly why a lot of people just decided, not to vote. And of course, there were third parties involved, I guess, too, with the presidential stuff. Now, I'm a little ignorant with that. I don't really understand, because there was somebody else on the ballot. I had no idea who he was.
Johnson, yeah.
Okay, I didn't. Did you know who he was?
I knew he was, but I wouldn't support him. I didn't support him.
He's not making any noise.
No.
That's the thing. You have to be able to make noise whether you're on that ballot or not. So now the decision has been made. There's nothing we can do about Trump. He's in there. What are we going to do locally? That's the question. If you're going to sit and rant on social media and you're my friend, you're getting deleted. And I mean, like, if you're ranting but you're not putting in work, that's my thing. Because it's one thing to release, but you have to put in that work. You have to back up whatever it is you're talking about. So if we're talking about the Black community doesn't have X, Y, and Z opportunities, then what are you doing to create those opportunities?
Mm-hmm.
If you're talking about the educational system is lacking, then what are you doing to educate our children?
Right.
That's what's important. And we do have to get out and vote in these smaller elections. Who are you voting for when it comes to the judges in your community, in your counties? Who are you voting for sheriffs and all that stuff? I mean, it's important. I mean, Trump is maybe over the country in totality, but he can't run each individual state. Each state and each city, they have their own set of laws. So who are you electing in these positions to run your city or your state? That's what's important. Forget about Trump and his toupee flapping all over the place. Let's talk about who our judges are that are incarcerating black men at alarming rates, that are putting these chief of police and whoever else, these sheriffs in position, and they're not doing anything about young men and women being targeted. And it's not just black men and black women that are being targeted by police. If you look a certain way, whether you're black, white, purple, or green, you're being targeted.
Right.
I've seen several videos of Mexican men or white women just being accosted by law enforcement. Are we going to police the police as a community? Are we going to come down on the higher ups so that put pressure on them so that they can turn their departments around? That's what's important right now.
Yeah.
If I could add to that, going back to the point about people who didn't vote in the election, I had friends of mine who didn't vote in the election, and they told me they weren't going to vote. And I was frustrated. I got extremely upset. I didn't talk to them for a little while because I was angry. Mostly at the fact that, and as Sajul said, is the decisions that Donald Trump will make, and that he's even making now, his cabinet position, his cabinet appointments, they automatically affect what's going on here. He may not have any control as to what's going on in Augusta, but we just had a congressman in one of Georgia's districts to be appointed to a position in the Trump cabinet. So now you have other Republicans, other people looking to take over that seat. And then, like in Georgia now, we have Medicaid. That's pretty much going to go away now. Not Medicaid, but the Medicaid fight is going to go away simply because, we have people who are going to be in that Trump administration who could care less about Medicaid, who wants to get rid of Obamacare. So the things that we failed to vote in favor of, and when I say vote in favor of, I don't necessarily just mean voting for Hillary Clinton, but like Sajul's also said, voting down the ballot. We failed to do that. And so now we have to change our entire agenda around. The fight for health care is going to be even harder now. The fight for quality education is going to be even harder now. The fight for stronger communities is going to be even harder now. All because we failed to exercise our right to vote. And like I said, it's your absolute right to vote. It's your absolute right not to vote, just like it's your right to vote. And if you didn't feel confident in Hillary Clinton, if you didn't like Hillary Clinton, if you didn't feel, if she didn't make you feel the way President Obama made you feel, okay. But I would charge you to get out and do something. I mean, it's just reiterating, I would charge you to get out and do something because we have a homeless rate in Augusta that will make your eyes pop out of the sockets. We have too many young kids in Richmond County who are going to school in the mornings and they don't have meals in the mornings when they go to school. They don't know where the next meal is going to come from. We have a school system that was cut close to $3 billion over the course of 10 years right here in our home. So, I mean, we have to make sure that we understand that our civic duties go so far beyond voting in November or voting in May. It goes to us knocking on doors and asking what the issues are in our communities and going down to the soup kitchens and feeding the homeless and coming up with ideas as to how to aid the homeless situations and how to aid these problems that we're facing in our communities. If you aren't active in doing those things before it's time to vote, then there's really no point in you voting.
Absolutely.
So, I mean...
Good point. All right, guys, we got to take a little break, but we'll be right back. You are watching KARLTON Says Live. Oh, nice of you to join us, sir.
They say can't dream. Let's see. Little black boy with the American dream. The ghetto is a scene and it's quite a routine. You hear them Dogs barking, cops, sirens, mama's boyfriend, blunt sparking. It's unorthodox, he knew his pops. But life can hit you quick. It's full of shit, man, life is full of shit. Father was no mentor, cause his father didn't come equipped with the way his mother acted. How could he have loved a chick? Grew into the habit of calling every girl a bitch. Sister taught you better and you know it, you don't show it though. Every other morning heard a parent lost her overdose. It's the smell of death, so just your nose and crush your toes. On these corners you can spot some hoes, dirty, tattered clothes. But all he sees himself is tearing down these shows. Young kings and queens showing love everywhere he goes. Teacher told him slow it down, enjoy the little things. He said, teacher, have you ever had the black American
we
dream?
like to drink our Kool-Aid, cold, mix it up, dip it, strawberry, put in love. Sugar makes it sweet, make it good for me, make it good for me. If I made a last thing I drink, if I die, pour out some for me. Yeah. Skittles out for me. Or if I die, black American dream. Yeah, I won't die, black American dream. I think we gon' live forever in a field of Kool-Aid flowers. I think.
All right, everybody, welcome back to this special edition of KARLTON Says Live. What's next? Now that President-elect Donald Trump is going to be running the country for the next 4 years. Just talking about just solutions and just different things, questions and topics that, of course, are in our communities that people have questions over, and we're just trying to just be the solution to these problems. But what I want to talk about next, another big topic is, of course, President Obama, and a lot of people, including myself, very sad that he will be leaving in January. I'm telling y'all, I am going to cry. I'm gonna have a crying party.
I'm with you.
That inauguration, I'm in my room locked up. Don't call me, because I'm really sad, because again he really, like you said, Jordan, he was somebody that made you believe you could do anything. Mm-hmm. It was just the way that he just carried himself, and not just him, just First Lady Michelle, just their whole family. It was just they created the standard, and that's just what it is. But a lot of people, especially in the black community, are saying that President Obama didn't really do anything for black people. So what do you guys have to say about that statement as far as President Obama is concerned?
My first thing is President Obama was not the black president for black people.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
He was the president of the United States of America. So that is anybody who is a U.S. citizen. Y'all need to stop that. Y'all need to stop acting like he was just the president of black people. Okay? That man presented himself with style, grace, class, and some swag. Cousin Obama. Let me stop. No, but really, he did what he was supposed to do. He hit a lot of brick walls with people not supporting him, not because he was uneducated, didn't have the experience, but merely because he was a black man. I need people to stop saying he didn't do anything for the black community. Because if you're saying he didn't do something, show me what you did. Show me what you did. I don't want to hear you talking. Show me. The proof is in the pudding. This man set up so many different policies just with the Obamacare itself. There were millions of Americans, including blacks, that did not have health care. It became a law that they had it. I have a friend of mine personally who did not have health care for well over 10 years. She couldn't afford it. When Obamacare came out, that girl was at every doctor getting hangnails checked out. Okay?
Yeah.
So he did a lot of things, and he was not just the black president for the black community. He had to help everybody.
I agree, absolutely. President Obama, like you said, he set the standard. I like to compare John F. Kennedy's Camelot with how President Obama brought up the grace from 2008 until today. Like I said before, he made me feel like there was nothing I couldn't accomplish. I felt like if I could go get the moon, I could, because he said it. And a couple months ago, I received a letter in the mail from him, and it made me feel like a big old kid. I could have just sat down and just cried, because President Obama, he made America feel like America. And even if you don't think he did anything policy-wise for black people, I mean, come on, he made us hope. He made us believe. He made us get out and vote. No president in history has had higher poll numbers than President Obama, period, in 8 or 12. So if he didn't do anything else, he made us go out and vote. He made us get active. Obamacare, again, there's 600,000 people in Georgia who are uninsured simply because our governor won't accept the money that President Obama has already given us to expand Medicaid through Obamacare. We could have millions of more people insured with Obamacare if Southern governors would jump on board. Obamacare helped my grandmother for years, who was sick, who was injured with her back, injured with her stomach, had to have half of her stomach removed, pancreatic cancer. So she was able to get on board with Obamacare, with the Affordable Care Act, and get health insurance. And she's healthy as an ox right now. So, not only that, but in unemployment, he knocked unemployment down by half in the African American community, from 16% in 2010 to about 8% in 2015. So, I mean, you can't say he hadn't done anything for African Americans, because he did. Even here at home, we have felt the effects of an Obama administration. The Cyber Command that is on Fort Gordon, Obama administration. Gas prices lower, Obama administration.
Come on, gas.
And let's even look at the My Brother's Keeper initiative, where he has charged nonprofits to raise $2 million to help African American at-risk youth. And Mayor Hardy Davis brought that program right here to Augusta. So you can't say he hadn't done anything for us, because he has. And I would even agree, if you say he hadn't done anything for us, what have you done for us?
Right.
Have you actively gone out into your communities and made a difference? And if you look in the mirror and you can't answer that question, then I'll just say, stop bothering my president.
I think too a big thing that people are saying, because a lot of the violence, I guess, with like you brought up earlier with the police and police brutality, and a lot of African American men and women being killed. I guess a lot of people wanted President Obama to really be, like a king can like be like a king or a dictator, and he's not that. Like he's a president. He has to go through certain steps before decisions are being made. So I guess people wanted him to be like, stop it now. I don't know what they were expecting.
There's protocol. Like you said, there is, he has to go through this chain. He's a black man who has been rebelled against since he started running. So he can't go out there and say, you stop that, and they're going to stop. That's not going to happen. Let's be realistic in our thinking. People are typically going to do what they want to do anyway. He can't say, either you stop killing black people or I'm going to behead you. That's illegal.
Yeah.
So, I mean, some of it's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
There's a book that was mailed to my house. I still know who mailed it to me to this day. It was called Obama, the Best Worst President. And what it really talked about was how, he's done so many things for all of America, but we just don't know what he's done. But, and I understood what the book was trying to say, but at the same time, we have to realize that for African Americans alone, he made it easier for us to own homes. He made it easier for us to start businesses by giving us access to capital in a more non-traditional way. President Obama has bent over backwards. He's gone outside of his way to make sure that the issues that matter to us were actually were voiced. When young black teenagers and young black men and women were slain by police officers, President Obama did not hesitate to go to the cameras and talk about those issues. He didn't hesitate to go to the funerals and to sit and talk with the mothers. When Pastor, I don't want to call him the black pastor, when Pastor Pickney in South Carolina was slain by Dylan Roof, President Obama went to his funeral, gave the eulogy, and sang Amazing Grace. So there's a lot of things that we can be extremely grateful for President Obama. And for one, I'm going to be extremely sad to see him go. And just, again, knowing that we went from Barack Obama to Donald Trump makes my heart hurt even more. But absolutely, we can't say he hadn't done anything. He's done above and beyond.
Absolutely.
I don't know what else we expected from President Obama.
President Obama, we salute you here on KARLTON SAYS Live. We love you. We're gonna miss you and your entire family. All right, we're gonna take a break. We'll be right back with our final thoughts here on KARLTON SAYS Live.
Should make your moves, don't wait. I shot you. This is a knowledge-based beat. They watch me like a main event. Your chick came to see this main event. I'm Showtime in this main event. Mr. Pay-Per-View in this main event. They watch me like a main event. Your chick came to see this main event. I'm Showtime in this main event. Mr. Pay-Per-View in this main event. Won't let up till I'm rich. Made, I'm it. That's me. Paid, don't quit. Nah. She fussing over my. Spark them lighters and blaze up. I'm a new year, your days up. Digging all they grays up. Black body bags, it's go time. I'm the main event, no show time. A couple new connects, dump the old line. He's just better, he a trendsetter. I'm cashmere, you a thin sweater. Glass jaws, I chin check him. I play foul, can't eject him. Then L.I. respect him. If you put in work, we select him. Then watching how I roll, they capture it on their iPhone. Then foreign cars, yes I drove. It's no bullshit like J Rose. Drop a stack that's on play clothes. My first block wasn't Legos. Chinese chicken with the egg rolls. These chicks is hot, no legs closed. They watch me like a main event. Your chick came to see this main event. I'm Showtime in this main event. Mr. Pay-Per-View in this main event. They watch me like a main event. Your chick came to see this main event. I'm Showtime in this main event. Mr. Pay-Per-View in this main event. Smack. They chill now.
Alright, we're here. Final thoughts. Real quick now, there are, of course, people have been protesting ever since the news came down that Donald Trump will be the next president of the United States. Now, do you have people that are saying that these protesters are doing a little bit too much? How do y'all feel about that? But before I let y'all answer, I'm gonna say something real quick because I work at a place where I can't say who it is, but I work somewhere where someone feels very heavily that, of course, Barack Obama did nothing. Donald Trump will make an excellent president, and he was saying that the protesters need to just pipe down, go home, and be satisfied with what's going on. I'm going to say this. President Obama has been disrespected for the last 8 years. Highly disrespected. He's the most disrespected president that we've ever had. And I feel like people expect, especially us African Americans, expect us to just deal with what's happening and just be happy with Donald Trump for the next 4 years. So y'all expect us to be cordial and I guess be respectful to this man who's disrespected President Obama himself. But for the last 8 years, a lot of y'all have just disrespected my president. And I don't think it's fair for you guys for people to tell protesters that they have no right to protest and if they're unhappy with the election. I think they had every right to get out and let their voices be heard, especially if they went to the polls and voted. Some people are just making noise just to be seen, but you have people who are really passionate and upset about what really happened, and they have every right to. This is a country that we live in. We have to live with these policies that are going to be put in place for the next 4 years. So that's my 2 cents on that.
Ladies first.
Protesters. Oh.
Yeah.
Such a slippery slope.
Yeah.
Everybody has their right to their opinion.
Mm-hmm.
It's your truth, whatever. If you didn't vote, you shouldn't be protesting.
Agreed.
Absolutely.
If you did vote, you should be protesting with a purpose if you're going to do it. You can't just be out there chanting whatever you hear everybody else chanting. And then, but before you go out and protest, what are you going out? I mean, what is the end goal? You know what I mean? You can't protest and say, I'm going to protest this and then he's not going to be president anymore. That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Sorry to crush your dreams. So there has to be a purpose. There has to be an end result. And I always go back to what are you going to do in your community? You can't say, I just protested.
With that said, we have to go in a minute, but of course they're talking about a recount. Do y'all think that's going to do anything?
I mean, at this point, we can't predict anything with how America's going, how the system, the politics is working right now. We don't know what's going to happen. Will it change things? I hope so, but I just don't think it will. And even with the protesting, you know, protesting doesn't solve the problem. It only keeps the attention on the problem. I don't think that, burning up stores and looting and shutting down the highway, I don't think that, that's the best way to go about solving your problems. But I absolutely understand. People are frustrated. People are tired. They're tired of not being heard. They're tired of sitting back and being told to do things the political correct way. People are just tired. So I understand, but I also understand this, that in the 1970s, Augusta went through some riots. There was a race riot happened here in Augusta, and we're still picking up the pieces from that riot today. So I think, if we're going to go out and protest, let's make sure that we know why we're protesting. Let's make sure that we have a purpose. Let's not just go out there screaming around. And another thing, instead of protesting, take that energy towards going and talking to your commissioners about getting put on a board and serving on your economic board, or serving on your aviation board, serving on the animal shelters board. Take that energy that you're using to go out and block a highway and get involved in your community. Go out and pick up some trash. Go run for office. Let's get involved in local administrations. Let's get involved in local legislation. Let's get involved. So I mean, protesting is good. I understand why we do it. I protest. I protest police killings. I protested Donald Trump's presidency. I wear a shirt that says "Not my president" on the front of it. But at the end of the day, when I go to sleep, he's still my president, and we still have issues in our community. And me going out holding up a sign don't solve it. It just keeps the attention on that issue. And I say if you're protesting, keep protesting, but do it in a civilized way. But not only that, but go out and do something. Get involved. Put your energy towards changing the environment that you're so angry about. And until we realize that our voices matter and our actions matter even more, we won't see that type of progress in our communities.
Agreed. I think, like I said, I agree. I think you guys said it right. Protest with a purpose. Just everybody. I think we just need to try to find the unity again. Like I said, sadly, this election has destroyed a lot of relationships because again, people's true colors came out. It's no harmony anymore. So I think we just got to find a way to get unified again and be united once again. We are the United States of America, so I think we just got to figure out a way to do that.
One thing I'll say to that, if I can, is that America is not doomed. We aren't going down this road of destruction. Donald Trump is president, yes. I understand your frustration. I understand the fear. But what we have to realize is that what you just said, we are still the United States of America. We're still the greatest nation on the face of the earth. We're still the largest superpower. We're still the most wealthiest nation on this earth. We are the United States of America. And we are already great. And we're great because we have people in our communities who care about our country, who will put our country first, who don't mind going the extra mile for the better of the person who's sitting next to them. So I don't necessarily think this country is going to go backwards and that we're going to damnation or anything of that nature. I just think that the smoke has to clear, and when the smoke clear, we have to make sure that we're pushing for America, that we're rooting for the success of America, not just America. And I'm not even talking about rooting for the success of Donald Trump, because for 8 years they wanted to make President Obama a one-term president, and they just disrespected him, heckled him at his State of the Union address. So that's not even a factor right now. I say let's root for the success of our communities, the communities that we have to wake up in, that we have to take our kids to school and that we go grocery shopping in. Let's root for the success of our own backyards before we even start talking about rooting for the success of our nation. They're all connected to one another, but we can make a greater impact right here than we can make in Washington, D.C. And so that's why I think that this type of dialogue is important, because we don't have this type of dialogue. So we're not doomed for failure.
Yeah, very well stated. All right. So if you guys, we'd love to hear from you. Definitely go to our Facebook page, KARLTON Says. We'd love to hear what you have to say, how you feel, and what's next. Do you have any solutions? That's what we're about here, solutions to these problems. All right, Jordan and Saw, thank y'all so much for joining me on this special edition of KARLTON Says Live. This is it for 2016. Hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving. Hope you guys have a Merry Christmas and an even prosperous New Year as we get ready to go into 2017. All right, y'all. Be blessed.